great group of people that worked very well together, and I think that we're able to create a partnership which will last. The way you communicate, the form in which you're communicating matters, but what matters first is having the basic initial skills to communicate anything. A problem we've had for a long time with our students, it's not unique to our students, but it's one that we really try to address effectively, is the writing.
Writing is critical in science, especially in terms of even from things as basic as writing lab reports.
You know, we find ourselves turning into writing professors, and we really don't know very much about how to teach writing while we're trying to teach all this other stuff.
The teaching certification exams that students have to take as part of one of the requirements of getting their teaching license has a writing component to it. And we found consistently that those who fail this exam often fail it, usually fail it because of the writing component. And we tried, pretty simple one-shot workshops, which told them how to write a 5-paragraph essay. We really just sort of tailored a workshop to the test to try to just squeeze them through it. And it didn't work. We got together with faculty both inside the education department and across campus, English being one of them, other SLS instructors, and some of the support facilities for the students, and we drafted together a proposal for the WAC grant, and we're fortunate enough to have gotten it.
And we spent a lot of this semester or this year coming up with those rubrics and trying to figure out how we wanted to collaborate with our SLS faculty, the Science, Letters, and Society faculty, because there's a lot of writing that goes on there as well, how we would bring the students, how we would develop the writing along the program, not just in one course, but take them from early courses through the beginning ed courses, through the methods courses, and develop it for a while, because writing doesn't get better, I don't think, in one shot. I mean, I think it's a process.
And part of the advice was, well, okay, this is not a sort of skill you can learn in a workshop. You can't even learn it in a class. These take years, if not lifetimes, to develop. And the track we have to take, the strategy we have to take in addressing them is the same. We've got to work with the students over the long haul. We've got to make a commitment to them to help them with their writing, to develop these skills they're going to need not only on some exam, but for the rest of their lives.
We need it. These are teachers. It's so critical for them. It's not just their livelihood on the line, like if they can go out into the world and write, they have to model, they have to teach writing, they have to, be good examples. If they're not, then we're doomed.
My students are going to be teachers, and so they're involved, especially these are the elementary education pre-service teachers, so they're going to be teaching students. Being an instructor in science education, for me, grammar and literacy, it's not my field, so all I could do is try different things and try to reach out to different people to get help and support and find different strategies to try. Working with the Writing Across the Curriculum Fellow was extremely helpful because I find that I was putting a lot of energy and effort into dealing with this whole writing and grammar issue. So when I was reading their work, I mean, it was literally causing a lot of frustration. Andrew came back to the class and we had a discussion with the students and found out that they thought that it was a very effective approach for them in terms of getting them to think about their grammar more.
I found the experience very beneficial for me as a professor and for my students. I worked with the fellow Heather Katz, and she did a really nice job of linking her expertise in writing to the particular paper assignments that I had given. So we would, and specifically asked me what my concerns were within that paper assignment, and so then she tailored her presentations to the particular skill set that I wanted students to demonstrate mastery of. She started with sort of a mini lecture, just kind of explaining the differences and giving some examples, and then distributed some text to students and broke them up into groups. And it was a very small class, so it was just divided the class in half, and she went to one group and I went to the other, and they had to read some language and then sort of identify whether they thought that that language was indicative of analysis or of an opinion.
We have to be able to monitor how students are going to be able to know if we're making a difference. It has to be done. Sure, as instructors, we often, almost always do that using our own intuition, our professional understanding of a student, and being able to just eyeball and see rather well how they're doing. But as good as that is, that's not enough. It's also not enough because we can't really standardize it. We can't pull something concrete and generalizable out of that into other settings. So what we need is something which is both valid in all of these contexts, but is also generalizable to other contexts. We know that it is working here, and this will also work somewhere else.
We came up with, they came up with a rubric that we were going to use to evaluate student writing at the beginning, and then do some intervention and working with the students on developing arguments and everything, and then using that same rubric afterwards. So we're trying to infuse that rubric to look at student writing, and then if students use the rubric, they can see where their writing is supposed to go. It gives them a little bit of a guideline as to what kind of writing we want to see from them.
Why would an instructor be interested in this? Why would they want to use this rubric, this assessment? Because it's easy. And in using this, we're able to see that we are helping our students develop the skills they need to learn.
Telling you, grading is so much easier when they're well-written papers. You don't have to go through and try to hunt for arguments and try to see what are they trying to say. When it's clear and it's written well, you can grade in half the time.
In terms of developing the strategies that we're using, I mean, we purposely developed them so that it would not take up a lot of class time and it would not take a lot of extra grading time on my part, being that it is a science education class and not a reading and writing class. That was really important to me. And I really feel like we were able to do that. So, I mean, we literally took, you know, an hour the first day of class and an hour the last day of class. And in between, I actually feel like I spent less time on grammar.
I didn't think this is something that we need experts to come in all the time. I think we just need a little bit of you know, advice on how to structure a class that includes feedback, that includes some strategies for improving writing. And they don't seem to be that huge, like it's not going to be any more time consuming than what we're doing now. I would definitely recommend it for any professors that are out there that are looking for some type of assistance, support, even brainstorming different types of strategies to use.
The extent to which you might encounter, not you individually, but like WAC might encounter like faculty resistance is because they would see it as like an add-on, like doing this takes them away from what they would otherwise be doing, so it's a trade-off. And I have to tell you, I haven't felt like that at all, and I think it's you really do a nice job of weaving it in.